Hello everyone, welcome to Midweek Gaming, and good news, maybe, depending how you feel about him. Justin is back on the other side of the mic these days. Hello, Justin.
Hello, everybody.
There we go, got some modulation in there for added effect. So, it's been one hell of a week. We put off, or specifically I put off, full disclosure, doing this one until pretty much the end of the calendar week. Maybe after, depending on how you look at your calendars. I know in the UK they actually have Sunday as the beginning of the week instead of at the very end, but again, I digress. For very good reason. Gamescom was this weekend, or this week and weekend. From, I think, what was it, Thursday to today, pretty much, in
About
Germany.
yeah,
Good old-
yeah, in German, in Deutschland.
In in Germany specifically, not Deutschland. That's Holland, dingaling.
Mm,
Yes, I don't know.
Ich Deutschen. Nein.
So I believe Guten Tag is hello. So Guten Tag to all the German viewers, which I don't think we have any. One day maybe. So
Guten Morgen. It is 10 o'clock our time. Well, actually, it's probably the evening their time right now.
indeed, indeed. So good evening, German viewers, if we had any. Maybe we will one day. um.
We have like.
So yeah, let's go. Yeah, like one. So, guten Tag to you. But anyways, hello everyone. Yeah, so let's cover Gamescom. Honestly, we've been looking over it. I've been looking over it. Full disclosure: we will not cover everything in this video because there's a lot to cover. Honestly, we could do a whole like three.
Yeah, the games and a lot of the trailers and stuff alone, we would probably be here for 2 hours.
Yeah, so we're just not going to do that. We will cover our highlights, what we think we enjoyed. Going to be a bunch of things in the trailers that we talk about in this video, including a Ubisoft showcase for day one that we won't get into, but it's there if you want it. They did one on the first day and second day, maybe the third. I haven't checked, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but it's in there if you want to see it, as well as the trailers that we'll be talking about. Maybe those we won't, depending on how the conversation goes, so let's just get straight into it. What did you like about the showcase, Justin?
I would say I haven't seen many. I think I've only seen one of the events that these guys have done, but I would say it was very entertaining in the sense of like they were constantly keeping me attentioned. You know, I didn't feel the need to tab out to something else and watch something else while watching that.
ADHD showing their heart.
Basically.
Way to give your ADHD away. But
yeah, I'm not gonna deny it.
Anyways, go on.
Yeah, I would say they did a good job keeping the flow going for the most part. They go on to like the next segment. There were some brief moments where it's like, all right, there was like small mini hiccups that don't really matter, but like they would if you're wanting your attention constantly grabbed. But for the most part, they did well. They did pretty well.
Any games in particular that you're interested in?
There was the main one, Resident Evil. Help me out here. I forgot the name.
Requiem.
Requiem.
There
I've been a pretty constant fan of the Resident Evil franchise, so yeah, I would say I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with Requiem on that one.
That is interesting. I did not take you for a Resi fan, legit.
It doesn't seem like that, but it is.
I guess I'm not surprised. You do like things that are kind of post-apocalyptic, kind of that kind of thing. And while Resident Evil doesn't do post-apocalypse, they certainly have that kind of vibe to it sometimes.
Yes, they do.
But yeah, I guess I'll throw it back over to my side. One thing I'm just going to get out of the way is that we finally have a release date for... Can you hear my clock in the background?
No.
Is this coming through? Okay, good. Bloody thing dings every 15 minutes, as I was recently pointed out on someone with another voice call. I never figured out that it actually dings every 15 minutes. Chiefly because I didn't set that. But anyways. So yeah, one thing we actually have a release date for is... my tongue died there. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, which... here's the thing. If I say I'm excited for it, I'm going to piss people off. If I say I'm not excited, I probably will piss people off too. So let me just kind of split the hair and say I'm lukewarm on this one. Why? Because here's the thing. I've been actually taking a pic. I've been doing some rounds recently today, and I've been trying to gauge where people feel about this, right? For those who don't know, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is a long-awaited sequel to the very famous Masquerade Bloodlines, well, 1, effectively. I think it was very old, like, not even 90s, like early 2000s RPG. Very famous, cult following, and it kind of was the first in the kind of World of Darkness series. I think there's been a few other games in recent years that have come out in the World of Darkness series. We got like one with a werewolf and stuff like that. You know, you basically got all the monsters in modern day, and it's kind of this weird kind of, the world as it is with, what happens if monsters
Like
are real?
yeah, like semi medieval type with like the monsters, but other than that, everything's modern day.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much you got the monsters in it, and, that's pretty much, what happens in modern day, right? On the topic of the modern day, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is kind of famous for this whole shtick of, keep the masquerade. The idea that vampires exist in the world, and they have since pretty much, the world began for the most part, if I'm not mistaken. But they've got this whole masquerade thing going on. The whole rule number one of the vampires is that humans cannot know they exist. So basically, don't break the masquerade. And that's kind of the whole kind of backdrop of the game, right? You're a vampire basically in these kind of clans of vampires, and you're going about your stuff while also trying to not break cardinal rule number 1, and that is don't let humans know you exist.
Yes.
So the first game was known for massive RPG elements, dialogue choices, some dark, grim humor, I'm told. I never played it, probably will one of these days. Like I said, it's quite famous, pretty old, kind of very much showing its age, but again, it is a cult classic, so that's kind of what made the second one so anticipated. It was in development hell for a long time. This got released, or at least the trailer did, back in 2019, and we were told it would come out in 2020. I don't know if you've noticed, but it ain't 2020 anymore. We're like 2025, and
I think some time has passed.
it was in development hell, and basically the original studio that was working on the second game got canned. The Chinese room got brought in. I think that's what they're called. They're known for like some very narrative-based story stuff, but not really much in the way of action. The whole point of this is that everyone seems to basically look at this game and go, it looks cool, don't get me wrong. As a vampire game, it's definitely looking like it's a pretty decent vampire game, don't get me wrong. It's certainly better than something like what Arcane was forced to do with Redfall. I wouldn't say rest in peace, because I don't think even Arcane wants that thing to exist.
I think even they were.
But yeah, even they were upset about making that one. But as far as the vampire game goes, Bloodlines 2 looks good. It's just that it doesn't feel Bloodlines. Seems to be the general vibe going on, right? It doesn't have that kind of deep dialogue choices that you've got going on.
It doesn't have the original charm that made it feel the intensity that it had.
Yeah, right. That's kind of the thing, where dialogue or combat looks decent, but then again, the first one's combat was also decent, so that's not to be held against it. But the dialogue feels like it could be way deeper than it is, and you don't build your own character for the most part. As far as I'm aware, you get your own character, kind of semi-built in terms of background, kind of like V from Cyberpunk is a good comparison. You get a backstory. You get a name assigned to you, but you can kind of choose the gender and maybe a little bit beyond that. That's it. Think Ubisoft Far Cry customization level, You can choose your gender, maybe a bit else, but that's it.
You don't get a whole lot of choice. You just get enough to go and make it a little personal.
Yeah, and that compounded with the fact that it doesn't feel, like I said, very deep. Everyone's looking at this and being like, vampire game? Could be good. Bloodlines game? Absolutely abysmal. Again,
I am disappointed.
Again, like I said, I want to be positive. I want to be cautiously optimistic about it, kind of like what I was with Destiny's not Into the Light, but the newest Destiny expansion that even I've forgotten the name of at this point, which says a lot. In fairness, I haven't played Destiny for a hot minute now, but that's not due to Destiny, it's due to other problems, but I digress. Anyways, That's Bloodlines 2. We have a release date for it, and that is October, name notwithstanding. Let me just check the trailer real quick. You'd think I'd have this all in my head, but I do not. This shows you how great my my work is in the background. It is coming out October 21st, so there. Going to be running trend for this video. There's going to be a lot of October dates, so get ready. Good lord, I've already spent 9 minutes or 8 minutes or something talking about Masquerade, so let's move on. Next on the list, is Republic of Gaming's Xbox Ally. So you know Republic of Gaming has the kind of handheld market they've got into these days. I can't remember what they're called. Well, they're partnering up with Xbox to make a whole new version of it, and that is going to be very heavily in the pretty much what it is right now, but just with Xbox and Microsoft and basically Windows tacked into it. So I guess it's no longer going to be what I'm guessing already is probably a Linux-based operating system. That's out the window. It's going to be Windows
Yeah,
now,
it'll
presumably.
definitely be a Windows.
So that's going to open up the ability for them to play Xbox games, not only from console, or not only from PC, but it looks like they're trying to get console games on this thing as well. So it's kind of going into Xbox's current initiative of them trying to be everywhere, and they're seeming to be pretty proud of this. The hardware for it looks pretty good, not gonna lie. I think they were told that there's like a fingerprint recognizer, like a fingerprint authenticator on the power button, which is interesting, don't get me wrong. But, you know, that's definitely seems to be... I'm not going to go too deep into the specs. Again, much like Bloodlines' trailer, that whole showcase that they had is going to be down below in the description, much like everything else. I'm going to be, like I said, pretty brief on this one because it looks good, don't get me wrong, and the idea of playing, you know, games on the go from Xbox's category, not just, you know, PC games in general, is definitely enticing, don't get me wrong. Like, can the Switch play from GOG? I think not. Or from Steam, even.
I mean, it
So
could, but you would be no longer using the
you'd be
Switch.
jailbreaking it, and at that point, Nintendo,
Jailbreaking it.
you'd risk the wrath of Mario, and I don't know if you want to risk the wrath
Do
of
you want
Mario.
to brick
So,
your Switch too?
legitimately, I think there's a feature for that. So,
There are a lot of
uh,
Switch 2s being bricked.
legitimately, that's a whole other video we could cover. I don't, it's a whole mess. But
A later
anyways,
day.
a later day, another topic. I think next week's might be actually Xbox or PlayStation raising price, but we'll see. Maybe we'll move the schedule around. But anyways, so yeah, it definitely seems like a good idea. Like I said, a console or mobile console that is allowing you to play games from your Steam catalog, your GOG catalog, now your Xbox console catalog from both PC and console in general, as well as from Game Pass. All in all, if you're like a big console nut that doesn't have any real hand in the mobile market because maybe you just don't play Nintendo, which is fair,
Mhm.
then this could be a good option for you legitimately, especially because now you're able to bring in the Xbox side of it as well, especially if you're a big Xbox nut. Honestly, pretty good. My only real gripe is the same thing I've had with the ROG, or with the ROG, ROG, not sure how to really say it really. Republic of Gamers, let's just use their full name. Console since the very beginning of it all, and that is that the console's uh, Switches. I'm tempted to say Joy-Cons because I've been on the Nintendo so long. The actual analog sticks for the actual ROG unit are embedded into the console itself. And if this generation of consoles have taught us anything, it's that they wear out.
Yes.
And there's some pretty heavy like games on the Xbox, including perhaps things like Doom and stuff like that, or even Dark Souls even, where your controller is just going to get run through the ringer. So I don't know how that would kind of support over long term. I don't really own one of those units myself. I own the Switch and the Switch 2. Don't have one of those, so I don't know how that's being addressed, if at all. I probably will have to look into that one of these days. That's probably my only real gripe before, you know, the fact that I haven't gotten one yet beyond the price tag, because I'm not made of money, sadly. The
What, you
Switch
don't have
2 was
enough
pricey
money?
enough. I know, the Switch 2 is pricey enough as is. I own every console known to man except that one. I'm not made of money here, but anyways. But you know, it is like I said, an interesting idea, and it's definitely a nice thing to have, especially if you don't have one of these units yet. It definitely feels like an upgrade to the base one that they have, because like I said, those cannot run Xbox. This one can do, as far as I can tell, everyone the old one can, but with Xbox as well, and probably as well better hardware maybe. I've yet to look into it though too much. I don't remember the specs off the top of my head, so correct me if in the comments section if I'm wrong. But anyways, that's the Ally, and that's the Ally X as they're calling it, and the Ally, I believe it. There's two versions of it coming out. One I think was stronger than the other, much like the consoles.
I have
And yeah, that's those.
Yeah, it's like just like the base Ally and the Ally X, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I think
And
that's
much
what they named him.
Yeah, the Ally and the Ally X. That sounds about right. And much like all the kind of stuff we're going to be talking about, this is going to be coming out in October sometime. I cannot bring the exact number up on screen. If I get that at some point later on in the show, I'll let you know. But basically, that's coming out October. So mark that on your calendars, October this year, if you're interested. Moving on, we have Arknights Enfield. This seems like a weird one to bring up. I'm pretty sure there's people that are lukewarm about it. I like gacha games. Justin can vouch for
Yes.
that.
Yes.
And I played the original Arknights, have it on my phone. I'm a sucker for tower defense, like I said. And when I saw originally Arknights was basically anime gacha with tower defense in it, guess who was the first person to pick it up? So, yeah.
Yes.
Enfield is not tower defense, as far as I can tell, though. It is actually more in the line of something like Genshin, interestingly enough, where it is more of an open world with what can only be seen at this point, from what I can tell from the early trailers, is almost like a Factorio element to it, which is really weird. We've gone from tower defense gacha games with like sprite art to fully fleshed out characters in a almost Genshin Impact style open world with Factorio elements to it, as far as I can tell, which, sure, that's a twist and a half.
Yeah, come on.
Um,
Don't you enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean, I probably will because I'm definitely picking this up when it comes out.
Mhm.
I'm definitely curious to see how that goes out. I've been told that there's betas so far that you can get into. I have not gotten into those, probably won't, but let us know if you're in that. And yeah, no confirmed date for that one yet. We still don't know when it'll come out, but my guess is since they've had the beta for some time, my guess is it's going to be within the next year, is my guess. Again, no date for that. That's just me guesstimating.
Guessing.
And indeed, and I'm just gonna check our time real quick because I do keep an eye on that. 16 minutes. Okay, I'll just kind of quickly run through these next ones. Outer Worlds 2. It got an official release date as well. It'll also be October 20. Looking, October 20. Xbox will go away. October 29th. Also this year. So like I said, October this month, as I told Justin before the show, is going to be packed this year. From
Yes.
like 20th to the 31st, just book that entire calendar off because that's
There's
going to
gonna
be
be a
a busy
game at
release date.
least almost every day.
Yeah, legitimately. I think a lot of that has to do with perhaps the fact that even I think the Outer Worlds developers joked in the opening night live, also down below in the comment section, you want to see that full bit. That now that Grand Theft Auto has been pulled off to next year, everyone can now do their release dates and kind of lines up with October. So I guess everyone was kind of waiting to see when it came out, and now that it's been pushed off to next year, everyone's kind of free to let the horses out, so to speak. So here we are. So yeah, that's coming out 29th of October. I will probably be definitely getting it. I actually played the first one. Never got around to finishing it, but I definitely have it. I originally got it for PC when it first came out. Funny story, another time. But yeah, I eventually transitioned over to consoles. Took me a while because surprisingly copies were hard to come by on Xbox. And yeah, eventually I did end up transferring over. Have not finished it yet though. Just kind of put it down one day, never picked it back up. Not because it was bad, because I just never got around to picking it back up again. You know how gaming is sometimes. But it's
Sometimes you
definitely
just
a
put it
great
down.
game. Yeah, sometimes you just put it down and you just get distracted. You never go back to it. I definitely need to pick it back up one of these days, though. Probably in the next few days, honestly. So yeah, definitely a great game. Get that when it comes out if you're interested. It's definitely worth it. It is basically New Vegas in space, which, what
It's
can I say?
Yeah. If you remotely enjoyed any of Obsidian's work, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah. Because they're the guys who made New Vegas, if you're not aware. So yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, moving on, we have Ninja Gaiden 4. Ninja Gaiden is an interesting series. It is made by Team Ninja, the guys who made the original Ninja Gaiden, interestingly enough. They haven't made a Ninja Gaiden in a hot while, though. But they're now working alongside Platinum Games to make it, which is also interesting. At least I believe it was Team Ninja that made the original Ninja Gaiden. The name kind of makes me think they did, but I could be wrong there. If I'm misquoting, let me guys know. But yeah, that's coming out eventually. We have a release date, actually. Also October 21st this time. So yeah, just book off the next, end 2 weeks of October. From 20th to the 31st. If you're into gaming and you're into any of these, you're just going to be gone. You're busy. So yeah, that's coming out the 21st. It looks really interesting. I played the Ninja Gaidens back in the day. They were pretty good, don't get me wrong, as far as hack and slashes go. Now that Platinum is in there as well, though, it's going to be absolutely insane, because Platinums are the guys who made Bayonetta, and if you played the Bayonetta games, those are also hack and slashes, but they play very differently. You know how those games go. It's going to be insane. So yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on. Like I said, October 21st, book it in the calendar if you're interested. Resident Evil Requiem, as you talked about before, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
It's a game.
It's a
Truth
game.
told, truth be told, full disclosure, guys, I have not played the Resident Evil series. I respect those games. I like those games for what they are. I'm not much of a horror guy though, so I don't really play them. Not because I'm against horror. It's just I don't just go out of my way to scare myself.
Some people are just not horror people, so it's understandable.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Like I said, I think what was the last horror game? I don't even remember the last horror game I played legitimately. Like I said, I play them when I have to, but they're not something I go out of my way to buy. But that is, like I said, it's interesting as far as things go. I think it's gonna have some plot points from Village in it, if I'm guessing right and half remembering right.
I think
But
so.
yeah. So that'll be interesting to see. I think it's actually a follow-up of the daughter, I think, but that's just me guessing from what half remembered lore I remember from Village.
Mhm.
I think it's a follow-up of the daughter's daughter, but again, that's just me half remembering and putting some lore in my head together. Anyways, that one's not coming out in October, though. Hell, not even this year. That's actually coming out, we do have a release date, though, February 27th of next year. So book that in your calendar if you're into Requiem 2026, February 27th. Book that in your calendar if you're interested in Requiem. And yeah, I am probably not going to bring in the elephant in the room, which is Silent Hill, what is it? Z? F? F it, I think is. Hold it, let me just check. F, yes, I was right. Haha! One of the alphabetical letters. I am probably going to have that linked in the description as well. I don't remember what it is. I don't have the trailer on hand to reference immediately, but that was also part of the showcase. It looks really interesting. Also, respect Silent Hill for what it is. Again, same reason I haven't played it as I haven't played Resident Evil. Not much of a horror guy myself, but I respect the series. So yeah, that's interesting. Definitely has a much bigger like Japanese take to it. Seems to be set in, well, it is set in Japan. That is big considering all the other Silent Hills were actually set in America to my knowledge, like in like a village town somewhere.
Yeah.
This one is set, I think, in like Japan, maybe in a city, I can't remember. So that'll be very interesting, especially with the horror that you can do. For those who don't know, Japanese have some pretty interesting takes on horror in their
they
history.
have deep lore of their own.
Ironic, considering Resident Evil was, I think, made originally by the Japanese, but they didn't even set it in Japan. Interesting, because like I said, there's some really interesting monsters they can use from their mythology, which might come up, might not.
They may.
So, yeah, like I said, don't have a trailer to reference that. Probably link it in the comments section below. But yeah, that kind of brings us to the end of the show. No, I'm not talking about Call of Duty number whatever we're at this point.
No.
So
We are not.
I have standards on this show. Yes, I'm taking a jab at anyone who plays Call of Duty. But like I said, I've played one of the games. Actually, I've played like two of them. I think I played Cold War, and I played the one that was set in space, the one that everyone hates. They weren't terrible. Not my style. There's far better shooters out there, in my opinion. So
Yes.
far more original shooters too. But anyways, that kind of brings us to the end. Like I said, most of the stuff that got covered over Gamescom pretty much got brought up in the opening showcase. So I'm not going to have all of the days and all of the stuff in the links in the description. I'm just going to have opening night as well as the trailers we talked about, as well as if I can dig it up Silent Hill. It's going to be, like I said, just a bunch of stuff because that's it. They really covered, like I said, most of it in opening night live. The rest of the days were just kind of expounding on community panels about the games that got revealed, so not really too much to go in the opening days. Like I said, Ubisoft did their own thing, though, that, didn't get entirely brought up. That'll be down in the description box below. But yeah, that's pretty much Gamescom 2025. Interesting stuff, really fun stuff. I'm excited to see where this goes. Justin is, I wouldn't say excited. I don't want to put words in your mouth
I'm
here.
never excited.
He's more of a PC guy anyway, which considering Xbox is kind of cross-migrating into everything now, maybe I can win him over to some other things. He has.
I have divulged myself a little into some things, but it depends.
I gifted him Outer Worlds. He has not played it. He should.
I will. I just need to clear hard drive space first.
Mhm.
I would prefer that I don't overload my computer with too many games.
Hey, if I can do all these games on a laptop, what's your excuse? But anyways.
I mean, you uninstall the games, though, and then
I don't.
install new game.
I don't, actually. I keep a running tab of the ones I have installed. Every one that I've referenced, I have not uninstalled. I think the last one I uninstalled was a long while ago, legitimately. But anyways, side prop for another day. But yeah. So, like I said, that's all the stuff that we're covering in the show. Like I said, bunch of stuff in there, including World of Warcraft. If you're interested in that, which you
Yes.
might be, you
World
might
of
not.
Warcraft Shadows.
I respect the series legitimately. The only reason I haven't actually gotten into it is because I know for a good fact that I've been told by many people that it is just impossible to get into these days, which is part of the reason why there's
The
so many
online
kind of like,
game, yes. Everything else, not so much.
yeah.
The RTS,
Which,
or not the RTS, the army management type game. The game that's very similar to StarCraft. That it's not
yes.
too hard.
Yes, which reminds me of another thing which was revealed at Gamescom, which I won't mention for the sake of brevity, as well
Oh,
as the fact that I
hi.
have to
Get
dig up the
this. I
trailer.
found your corpse
But if you
video.
know what I'm talking
Great
about,
haul,
you
lots
know.
of goodies to
So
find.
yeah, that
Took
brings
your
us to the end of the
items to
video. Like I said,
Larry's
Gamescom 2025 was
Don't
absolutely
worry, you can have
stunning.
it back.
We had a
For
performance
fast,
from the
of
people who
course.
made
I missed. You
oh
hit
my
some
god, the
innocent
game that was very,
bystander.
very popular this year, whose name suddenly
Unfortunately.
escapes me. Claire Obscure, that's the name. It's such a long name that I couldn't remember it. But that was interesting. So yeah, really great. Like I said, watch opening night live. You want a pretty good summary of everything that was at Gamescom and dig into the other stuff you're interested. And yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you see you next week. And yeah, Justin's back, so he'll be in the next videos going forward,
Obviously.
presumably. Presumably.
Presumably, so long as nothing supernatural happens.
I don't know. Maybe I'll get him out one of these days, or maybe he'll just drop dead. You never know.
You never
I'm
know.
planning for all outcomes here. But yeah, so hope you enjoyed, and see you all next week. Bye bye, everybody.